Let's talk about the silver dollar today. We're not talking about the pre-1964 coins minted in Philadelphia. With the world population aging 5 times faster and it's growing close to 1 billion people, we'll be north of 50 years old around the year 2018. That is a market the size of China or India. Our guest today says that market's being overlooked at the expense of businesses and consumers. Kim Walker, CEO and founder of Silver Group, a consultancy specializing in the over 50 segment. And of course, Christine Lowe stays with us. I'm not going to give away any secrets on whether she's part of that demographic or not. I'll let her make that own disclosure a little bit later in the show. Kim, welcome to the show. Are you part of that demographic? Not quite, right? You're late 40s and pushing it. What's so important about the over 50s?
Thanks for saying so. Yes, I am part of that demographic. I woke up to my reality 3 years ago. I got up and looked in the mirror and I was shocked to see a 50-year-old man. So ever since then, I've taken a profound interest in this.
Okay, and what are we talking about here? Are we ignoring the over 50? You know, if you do demographics for a lot of the hip hop items, the technology, I would presume that Steve Jobs' main market for the newest version of the iPhone is probably not the over 50 crowd. Is he making a mistake?
Well, I think so. I mean, if you look at the numbers, purely, if you look at, for example, the growth of the 50-plus segment over the next 10 years in Asia-Pacific, we're looking at a growth of 33.5% in total population across the Asia-Pacific region. Now, that's huge. At the same time, if we look at the 65-plus population, so effectively the retirees, their spending power will reach $2 trillion by the year 2015. So it's a huge market and it's being ignored, Bernie, and I think there are a number of reasons for this. Partly it's history, because we've always looked at population coming in the back of the baby boom era. I think it's also a factor because a lot of marketing companies, communication companies are staffed with younger people who quite simply don't have experience or the empathy with an older consumer. And as far as they're concerned, anyone who's 50 or above, first of all, are old, which is wrong, and second, they're all the same, which is also wrong.
Christine, you got a question here for Kim.
Well, I think maybe if I can put it this way, is it right to say that this generation of the 50s is the richest generation? And if that is so, then obviously they deserve to be looked at in a different way. Mm-hmm. And whether today, from different research and so on, we're already beginning to see a great interest in this particular group.
Mm-hmm. Kim?
Well, you're absolutely right. This is the richest. I think the United Nations put out a population report 2 years ago in which they stated that this is a phenomenon the likes of which the world has never experienced before. And it's also one of the reasons why businesses are very slow to pick up on this. And consequently, there is a massive opportunity sitting out there for companies that move into this space. Not only an opportunity to get into this space, but be careful if you are focused on younger consumers, because while the 50-plus population across Asia-Pac is growing dramatically, there is stagnant or declining growth in the younger consumers. So, for example, if you're a consumer products business that focuses on younger consumers, in some cases you're going to have to put up with declining population and therefore inevitably declining sales in your market area.
Kim, is it my imagination, and Christine, maybe you could take this one up too. Whenever I watch ads, okay, whether it's on TV or in newspapers or magazines that seem to be targeted toward this demographic here, it seems to be things like extended hospital coverage, you know, or something having to do with your health. It seems to be medications to help you bring down your low-density lipid, bad cholesterol, or something like that. It's almost insulting, isn't it? I mean, to be reminded that you're no longer a spring chicken. Hell, people are living to more than 80 years old, 90 years old easily these days. My parents are well into their 70s and couldn't stand retirement. They were so bored out of their skull, they went back to work full time. I mean, why are the ads so old for older people?
Well, I think it's an excellent point, Bernie, and I think that the issue here is that most of those ads are being created by younger people who have their own view of what older people think. And recently Silver Group conducted a bit of research across Asia Pacific with 170,000 online respondents. And the key thing, the key annoyance that they had with the factor of aging was the fact that they were being referred to as old people. You know, I'm in that bracket. I climbed to the Everest Base Camp last year for the 3rd time. Don't call me old.
Absolutely. Christine, what demographic are you in? Come on, fess up here.
I'm definitely part of the silver dollar. I'm definitely there. I suspect we're the same age. Not you, but we're the same age. What I think is, we don't think of ourselves as old, but of course old is relative. Our kids certainly think we are old, and if we think back in the days of our kids, you know, anybody who was 30 years old seemed pretty old. But I think we're living much longer, and we have the potentials to be much healthier. So I think these kinds of ads that you were talking about, you know, the old dodderers, that's the wrong thing to show. We are rich, healthy, energetic, and wanting to continue to learn 50s generation.
Okay. And Kim, in 20 seconds, what's the key takeaway? What's the key takeaway from all this? What do they need to do? Does Steve Jobs need to come up with an iPhone silver model or something?
Well, I think he already has, and I think the iPhone is a classic example of universal design. I think we also have to look at ageless marketing that takes into consideration the specific needs of an older consumer. We have to recognize that older consumers are not all the same. They have different attitudes and beliefs. And when we communicate with them, we have to communicate with them with respect. We have to understand that they look at different media channels, that the websites need to be accommodating for them. I think those are the key 3 issues.
Kim, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. Okay, 50 is not even the getting started in the race. We're taking emails with Christine.